Hello again, Gary Stearman, welcoming you to another Prophecy in the News daily update. It is Monday, the 28th of June, and we have a special guest, William J. Federer. Bill, welcome to Prophecy in the News.
Gary, great to be here.
We have featured this book, and we want you to be aware of it because I think it has great currency. It's called What Every American Needs to Know About the Qur'an, and it is really an amazing compendium of information that is specific to our situation in the world today. Bill, Qur'an, Islam, in the news today and in strange ways. One of the ways is that at Ground Zero, where the World Trade Center was obliterated, the Islamic, there are several, I guess, Islamic groups getting together to recommend that we build a mosque very near that location. Tell us about that.
Well, there is a concern because the building of a mosque is a symbol of conquest. When Muhammad finally conquered Mecca in 630 AD, their most sacred spot, the Kaaba, which had 200 or 300 some odd different pagan gods, he cleaned out all the different gods except Hubal, the moon god, and he turned it into a mosque. And then when the Muslims conquered Jerusalem, Caliph Umar conquered the Christian city of Jerusalem. It had been Christian for 3 centuries, and he builds a mosque on the Temple Mount in 691. Then the Muslims conquered Constantinople, the Christian capital of Europe, and turned St. Sophia's into a mosque in 1453. Then they conquered Athens, excuse me, and then they turned that into a mosque, the Acropolis. So we see that just in a way of looking at history, building of a mosque is a symbol of conquest.
Conquest and possession. I understand that in Islam, once you have taken a piece of land, it is considered yours for eternity. Is that correct?
Right. Muhammad said, whoever, you're free to join Islam, but you can't leave. So in Hadith al-Bukhari, it says, whoever changes his Islamic religion, kill him. They apply that same thing to geographic areas. Any area that comes underneath Islam and leaves is, they want the death penalty for anybody that removes it from underneath of. Muhammad indicated that there would be world peace when the whole world submits to the will of Allah.
So that's why it's called a religion of peace.
Right, that when Islam's enemies are defeated, there is peace. So it's interesting, Islam is not just a religion. So there's freedom for all religions in America, but Islam is not just a religion. It's a political system and a military system as well.
What I like about your book is the way it's divided up into topics, and you have the Constitution, Quran, the question of religion, of peace, which we just talked about. If somebody wants to have a little further information, they just open here to page 21, and presto, there it is. So you've basically laid this out as an information guide and a historical guide for people who know nothing about Islam.
Well, one of the stories that's interesting is the Battle of Vienna in 1683. 200,000 Muslims under Mustafa Pasha surround Vienna, Austria. The Pope puts out a plea for help, and the Polish king Jan Sobieski takes his entire Polish army of 80,000 men, leaves Poland with it, and comes to Vienna's rescue on September 11th, 1683. Is led through a pass in the mountains with his big hussar horses, charges right directly into the Muslim ranks, catches them totally by surprise. The Muslims flee in panic, and they're so disgraced by this loss that somebody's got to pay the blame, and so they tie a silk rope around Mustafa Pasha's head, and his last words were, make sure you tie the knot right. They strangle him to death, chop off his head, and they send his head to the Sultan to say, this is the guy that gets the blame for this humiliating defeat. Well, Jan Sobieski was treated like a hero for saving Western civilization. This is the beginning of the end of the Ottoman Empire. This is the Gettysburg for the Confederacy, so to speak. Interesting, Sobieski goes into the tents and finds these bags of beans, coffee beans, and realized this was this new drink that he had heard about that allowed the Muslims to fight day and night. And shortly thereafter opened the first Vienna coffee house by the Polish general George von Klashowski, and then coffee spread across Europe. They brought a cup of it to Pope Clement, and he drank it. He says, this is too good for just the Muslim infidels to have, so he blessed it, so that it was okay for Catholic Europe to drink coffee after that. Sort of interesting that the Pope had sent a Capuchin priest to encourage them during the siege of Vienna, and one of the Muslims that were captured showed him how to make the Turkish coffee, but it was like tar, right? You know, the Turk. And so he decided to mix milk and honey with it, and that's why it got named cappuccino.
Wow.
Okay.
You are a veritable fountainhead.
Well, it's interesting. The word coffee comes from the Arabic word kafir, which means infidel. because the beans came from the interior of Africa, mostly Ethiopia, where they called them infidels. Matter of fact, the Muslims captured so many South African blacks that the word kafir is their version of the N-word. So you don't want to call anybody a kafir in South Africa. But kafir means infidel, and that's where the beans came from, these infidel parts of Africa. And so that just applied to the kafir bean or the coffee bean.
Now, you have worked many, many, many strands of information, and you've woven them together into what I consider to be a tapestry here. What every American needs to know about the Quran. It's an educational book, entertaining book, but it's consciousness raising too. And we need to have our consciousness raised in America right now because we're kind of asleep, right?
Well, we are. And one of the things that we don't understand is that there's freedom for all religions in America, but Islam's not just a religion. It's a political system and a military system. Why? Because Muhammad was not just a religious leader, he was a political and a military leader. Muhammad fought in 66 battles and raids. He even used the catapult when he attacked cities like the city of Al-Taif. And when he was told the catapult was killing women and children, Muhammad's response was, they are among them, so they got to be killed too. So suicide bombers today say it's okay to kill innocent people to advance Islam because Muhammad killed innocent people when he used the catapults. I found a way to explain it. Islam is one word with three meanings. What's another word with three meanings? The word light, L-I-G-H-T. What does the word light mean? Well, it's a source of illumination, like a lamp. Okay, a lamp, that's a thing, that's a noun. Light is also an adjective to describe something. It's the opposite of the word heavy. Light is a feather, and light is also a verb, like you're going to light a stove or light a match or light a forest on fire, right? So light is one word with three meanings. It is a noun, an adjective, and a verb. Well, Islam is one word with three meanings. It is a religious system, a political system, and a military system. So under the grammar analogy, fundamentalist Muslims want us to treat them like a noun, yet they want to act like an adjective and a verb. They want to say, hey, we're just another innocent religion, but yet they have a political and a military agenda. So just for a moment, let's set aside the religion of Islam and just examine the political military. It has two aspects. One, global conquest. Two, wherever it conquests, non-Muslims are not treated with equality. So what other political military systems has America had to face in the last 60 years that one had a global conquest aspect to them, and two, wherever they took over, non-adherents were not equal? Maybe Nazism? I mean, I'm half German, but in the 1930s we said we love the German, but we have to identify and stand against this political military system. Why? Global conquest, and two, wherever conquest, non-Nazis like Jews are not equal.
Yes.
And we love the Italians, but we had to stand against Mussolini's fascism. And we love the Japanese, but we had to stand against Emperor Hirohito's imperialism. And we love the Russians, but we had to stand against Soviet communism. Well, today we love the Arab, the Indonesian, and the Turk, but we have to identify and stand against the political military system of Islam. Why? It has global conquest to it, and wherever it conquests, non-Muslims are not treated with equality. And so again, the religious aspect, what direction you're bowing when you pray and how many virgins you think you're going to have in paradise, that's your belief. But when you delve into the realm of laws, wanting to outlaw speech if it insults Muhammad, and wanting to determine the dress of women and so forth, and military, where you're killing people at Fort Hood yelling Allah Akbar and wanting to blow up Israel, now we're talking political military. You need to be treated like a political military system.
Well, if you've heard him speak, imagine what he writes. Wow. William J. Federer, the book, What Every American Needs to Know About the Quran. Call our 800 number. It's $19.95 plus shipping and handling. You need to know what's in this book. Bill, thanks for coming by today, and we wish you Godspeed on your mission of illuminating Americans everywhere.
Well, thank you, Gary. And if they do get the book, they can get a free ebook, a PDF file of the book, by just going to the first page. So I want to encourage you with that free offer.
Gary Stearman, another Prophecy in the News daily update. Keep looking up, everybody.